Hi, he has to go to the bathroom. We're going to go to the Bash on the Beach 1996 as he sort of falls over on the floor. That was pretty hilarious. I wish we had the camera turned around. There we go. Alright, so we go to the next match. WCW United States Championship. Conan, who is the champion, versus Ric Flair, who has Miss Elizabeth and Woman in his corner. Let me fix the camera back. There we go. Early feeling out sequence that Conan wins, and Woman is already upsetting me with her yell. Conan gets Flair in an early rest hold, and Shivani says that Flair is in the best shape of his life. Not too sure about that one. A signature short punch from Flair turns the tide a bit, but Flair ends up eating the back body drop in his usual way. Woman is awful. Conan locks up in a surfboard before they trade chops. They spill outside, and Liz gets knocked down, but is up quicker than most wrestlers. That was probably a mistake, to be fair. Conan goes up top, Woman shakes the bottom rope, and that somehow causes Conan to fall. Even worse, this is right in front of the referee, who doesn't care, who doesn't call it. Good old Nick Patrick. Woman does interfere, that makes sense by low-blowing Conan behind Patrick's back. Even though Flair's in control, he continues to use Woman to cheat. Flair works Woman with rest holds for a few until he rallies behind the crowd and he gets the Flair fall. Conan hits a springboard dropkick as Woman continues to be the worst. Kevin really doesn't like Woman. Nick Patrick has the gall to stop Conan from using the closed fist after allowing Woman to cheat in front of him. Conan applies the figure 4, but Flair, being the master, gets out. Conan tries a pin, but Elizabeth distracts the official. A Woman stands on the apron forever before hitting Conan with her heel. She did stand there a long ass time though. Flair covers with his feet on the top rope and gets the 3. This was a perfectly fine match. Wasn't necessarily memorable or anything special, but it honestly wasn't a bad time for me. Kevin apparently hates Woman, not women. He hates Woman, the wrestling manager. There was actually more on her later in this pay-per-view, but honestly I thought this match was perfectly fine for what it was. I gave it a B-. Gene the Hartsman in WCW Okerlund is at the door of the Outsiders locker room trying to listen in. Maybe that's the one I remember from before, but you get the point. Arn Anderson and Chris Benoit versus WCW World Heavyweight Champion, The Giant, and Taskmaster with Jimmy Hart and Arn Anderson. Or with Jimmy Hart, I don't know why I said Arn Anderson. But maybe he was there in spirit on that corner. As Joe just walks up and walks down and walks back up again. So Ric Flair wrestled as a heel, but the other horsemen worked as faces on this show. Classic WCW. A brawl starts in the aisle between everyone, and the horsemen have Mongo appear to bring the Giant out. The horsemen are alone with Kevin Sullivan, which is smart. Giant comes out shortly after, so this didn't accomplish much. Sullivan and Benoit fight in and out of the ring, and I can't get over how much I dislike Sullivan. Apparently he doesn't like Sullivan either. The horsemen are beating the hell out of the Taskmaster, so I guess the Dungeon of Doom are somehow faces. Anderson and Benoit work the heel tag team like it's their job as they cut off the ring in half and keep the Giant out of there. The Horsemen go for a spike pile driver, but Sullivan counters with the worst slingshot in history. He tags the Giant and fights with Benoit to the back. Well, they don't fight. They just walk together with no resistance. Giant beats up Anderson in the ring and chokeslams him to wrap this up in 7 minutes and 58 seconds. So no world title shot for the Four Horsemen. Yeah, this match didn't actually seem like anything substantial. It was literally about Giant tagging in, and that's literally what the story set up. And literally, he tagged in, and the match was over soon after that. So there wasn't really much to talk about. I gave the match a D.
And the main event.
If I can scroll up and read it. Here we go. Sorry about that. The Giant and Jimmy Hart exit, leaving Kevin Sullivan to take the beatdown from Chris Benoit. So much for teamwork, eh? Woman walks down shouting for Benoit to stop pounding on the Taskmaster. The Giant comes back, so Benoit leaves with Woman. We're taken to more terrible production videos hyping the show before going to Michael Buffer. Kevin hates Buffer. He sucks at everything. So we're gonna go to it. The Hostile Takeover. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and the Third Man versus Lex Luger, Macho Man, and Sting. Of course, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash arrive alone with no Third Man. Pretty much right off the bat, Luger is taking out probably because he was the worst worker in the match. That effectively makes a basic tag team match. Luger was also probably taken out because as a red herring for the potential Third Man. As things calm down and Luger is stretchered out, Sting and Hall wrestle while Nash and Macho are on the apron. Sting is aggressive as hell before Nash and Macho get tagged in. Dusty shouts something about who bad now, who bad now, who bad now. Which makes less sense because Nash is the one beating on Savage. They try to sell the WCW team as being picked via lottery. Your 3 top faces actively in your roster right now? Sure. He adds, and that nobody random like Joe Gomez or Super Callow were picked. The Outsiders now isolate Sting and work the tag formula. Tony Schiavone wants to see Nash and Hall get injured, which is something he never calls for. Sting just gets worked over for what seems like a ton of time. However, Savage gets the tag and the place blows up. He does the usual hot tag stuff and tosses Hall outside before hitting him with a double axe handle. Hulk Hogan is here. He walks to the ring, leading to the infamous "Whose side is he on?" remark from Bobby Heenan, which I believe was totally scripted and none of the 3 commentators actually knew who it was, if he was the Third Man. Hogan drops the leg on Savage and officially turns heel, crushing the dreams of children everywhere. He high-fives Hall and Nash before hitting another leg drop on Savage. No contest after 16 minutes and 54 seconds, but I think it's more important that I read on. Commentaries besides themselves as the New Order is officially formed. Tony Schiavone says that this has been premeditated since Hogan's arrival in 1994. Hogan cuts a long promo about his heel turn, and while he looked uncomfortable here, he would grow into a fantastic heel. If you're going off just match quality on this match, it's probably like a B. It's still one of the better WCW matches from this time period and forward. But I think if you're just doing it based on wrestling ability in this match, I think you're missing the whole point of this whole thing. This was a brilliant angle. Hogan being the third man, I don't think anyone saw coming at the time.
I did.
You did?
Yes. I remember saying where's Hogan.
Or were you just a kid asking where the most popular WCW star is?
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, if you're looking at match quality, you're missing the whole point of that whole match.
If you're looking for match quality on my show, you're missing the whole point of your brain.
You probably have one good one.
Two, but still.
Okay. Yeah, this was absolutely brilliant, and even how it was where they held the third man back, and even played into a little bit with Luger being taken out as he could have been the possible third man, and then Sting and Savage worked the crowd as baby faces, and Nash played the perfect heels. So all in all, it was probably WCW's best booked thing ever, especially in the Bischoff era. So I'm going to give the match an A+. I'm still going to say my favorite match obviously was Reign Psychosis, but I think you need to give the better grade to the 6-man tag team match. My overall show is also going to be biased as well. In reality, it would probably be more like an okay show, like a B area. But this one, and admittedly with bias, I'm going to give it an A. It's a very historic show. Reign Psychosis was an absolute gem to start off with. We also get good matches from Dean Malenko and Disco Inferno, Ric Flair, and Conan. I also thought was pretty good as well. But yeah, it was just a very memorable show, and if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend you actually go watch the whole show for just them setting up the angle throughout the show and even up to this point.
Now, though, for that, now if you're looking for a match as good as Reign Psychosis, don't listen to the next review. If you're looking for a match as good as Dean Malenko versus Disco, you might be in luck.
Yeah.
Can't promise you nothing. But Guilty as Charged 2001 is next.
You're welcome.